Hi guys, it's Andy at Revlog here. Today I'm at the 2019 LA Auto Show. Let's go take a look at what exciting cars they have. Hi guys, so I'm at the Audi booth and finally looking at the RS6 Avant in person. It's really cool. Finally we get some serious wagons in US. Hopefully this is the start of the great things. I know they offer some diesel wagons in Europe. I don't know if the diesel is still a big no-no from a corporate standpoint for Volkswagen, but yeah, it's here. Super cool, super cool. Massive wheels and brakes. I think they're 21 inches. Just for comparison. Oh, yeah. Super large brakes. The hatch, yes. So this is just making everything better. The usual super nice Audi LED taillights. Big oval exhaust like the proper RS with some carbon trims. Oof. Man, beautiful. Unlike a lot of the Teslas and the brands that are taking on more of the super large tablet screen interfaces, I really like how Audi integrates a lot of the screens into the interior. This black piano trim piece here, it really flows well nicely with the screen. It's very seamless. So it still gives it a little bit of a shape that blends in with the interior. Beautiful. Lots of nice leather and Alcantara. So again, I'm 6'1", but headroom is aplenty. Lots of leg room as well. So look what we have here. We have the new Acura NSX. I guess not so new anymore, is it? I'm starting to also see some prices drop on this car. I don't know. I'm very much mixed about the overall Gundam-like design trends of now. And we have the Acura Type S concept here next to the NSX. And I don't know, just I really miss the chic 2000s Acura, the TSX especially being just the simple chic designs. I know Acura is really pushing more of this edgy look, but yeah, I'm still not 100% sold. Looks like they're doing some trim pieces like the Lamborghinis, the pressed carbon instead of the weave. I guess that's kind of the trend nowadays. I don't know if that'll show up on the video here, but yeah. I just wish, also the thing with the new NSX, I know the whole point of the NSX is supposed to push boundaries, you know, experiment with new technology. But I think what makes the original great is they used new technology to really push the fundamentals of the driving feel. But I feel like they just went away from that. It's they use a lot of marketing to push the new tech. But is it really improving the driver's feel? I'm not so sure. I know Ayrton Senna was really big into pushing that tactile feedback to the driver. You know, he himself gave Honda a lot of feedback on the chassis rigidity and things like this. So, but you know, don't judge the book by its cover. I haven't driven it, so I would love to drive it. What is cool though, I know from the original NSX, if you will, bear with me just 1 second. The fender flares, I don't know if that'll show up on the video, that you see from the original NSX is still very much prevalent on this new one. So that's one nice detail they kept throughout that carries from the original. But yeah, I'm still of the opinion that I just like the original too much. Ah, the beautiful Alfa Romeo. I know with the existing or the current situation with FCA, it's not looking too good. I really want this brand to do well in US, but I feel like a lot of people are still really afraid of the Italian reliability, and then you add Dodge into that. Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, I think they're trying to launch the new Tonale, which is the smaller SUV. I know that's basically the hottest segment right now, so hopefully that takes off for them. Hopefully also FCA still makes Alfa Romeo stick around in the US, so we get really cool cars. I know I'm kind of a culprit for buying the 3 Series for my wife instead of the Giulia. We actually regret it quite a bit. Every time we see one on the road, we're like, we should have taken the gamble. It looks so beautiful, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Alfa Romeo in the future in US. So here's the Tonale. I saw Matt Watson from Carwell pronouncing it as toenail, and that was kind of a fun video to watch over and over again. But yeah, I mean, looks good. I think it looks a lot more refined than the existing, what's that mobile? I forget. The Stelvio, that's what it was. I think it looks a lot more sportier than the Stelvio in terms of the proportions. For me, I don't know, the Stelvio looks really kind of bloated, but you know, that's what you get when you take a sedan chassis like the Giulia and turn it into a CUV. So I feel like this car, the Tonale, is made to be a CUV from get-go. So you can tell it's definitely a lot more shorter, looks a lot sportier, bigger wheels, but man, still very, very beautiful. That Alfa Romeo shade of red, so nice. Moving on to BMW. I think for a lot of car enthusiasts, the M2 Compact is probably the most interesting. I have some friends that have the E46 M3. I would love to do a comparison test of the M2 Comp versus the E46 M3. Is it really a spiritual successor? I'd love to put those two side by side and go for a drive. And I'm gonna try and make it happen for you guys, so stay tuned. But sure looks good in this blue color. Almost reminds me of that special color that they offered in the E46. I forget the exact color spec, but yeah, looking good. Also slightly warm tone wheel here, looks like. Kind of reminds me of a Subaru theme in a way, actually, just done nicer. But yeah, looks like a driver's car. We'll have to find out if it really is. What is it with BMW and the grille just getting larger and larger and larger? Is it the marketing team that's really, telling them, hey, look what Audi's doing, look how many sales, how much sales they've gained, we should do a bigger grille too? I don't know, it's just, in proportion, it just looks so enlarged. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the new grille direction. And also, I know they've made some changes on the Hofmeister kink. I mean, I really applaud BMW for pushing through new design elements. That's hard to change. I know a lot of European brands, they like to stick to their traditions. Do I like it? It's different. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, I hope they're not doing things for the sake of churning out different designs. I mean, so we get a look of this, and then, immediately just the back-to-back comparisons. I just still think my eyes follow the smooth lines of the classic Hofmeister kink a little bit better, but maybe it'll grow on me. Yeah, maybe it'll grow on me. Finally, the new C8 Corvette. Oh, I may need some new pants. Really excited to see it in person. think it's opened for press to take a look inside. Maybe not everything's figured out yet, but, and I don't know why they brought it in white that, you know, potentially hides a lot of different shapes. What do I think? What do I think? First impressions. I think the mid-engine platform change was a good decision. It really separates the Corvette brand from the younger brother or the sibling, the Camaro. It looks, for me, it looks kind of a mixture of a McLaren and a F430 Ferrari, the proportions. But you know, we're talking about what, a price of $60,000 starting. If I have one request for you, a lot of rich people out there, please just don't do the markup price and jack up the price for everyone. The Corvette is a Corvette because of what kind of performance it offers at the price level, you know, the value for the buck. But if they keep jacking up the cost, I don't know if it makes it any more attainable to a lot of the different buyers. I know GM's going through some struggles with the strike right now, so I think the car is on delay anyhow. But yeah, please, let's keep it an obtainable dream car for a lot of us. But yeah, this thing in flesh, whoa, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I know a lot of people, the Corvette purists were upset with getting rid of the round taillights. I personally think, you know, it's still a quad element design. I think it looks great. I'm not a big fan of the wheels, I think, but overall, it definitely looks a lot more like an exotic car now. Really excited to see one in person finally, and hopefully I'll get a chance to drive it. Gorgeous. So I'm not allowed to sit inside, but here it is. Here's the interior of the new C8 Vette. I can tell the steering wheel is nice and small, super upright, like a very serious sports car. You know, it's hard to tell what it's going to feel like without sitting in it, but yeah, I mean, it looks like a proper business in there. Lots of good materials. I don't think the HVAC wall, that people call it, is as big as I thought, or how I remember it from the photos. So yeah, definitely a different impression of it in person. And yeah, I'm seeing a lot of really nice metallic finishes everywhere. Just like the exterior, I think the interior is definitely stepped it up a notch. Who's counting fuel economy when you can have a V8 Hellcat? Yeah. I would say the Challenger is probably my favorite new muscle car. I think it just looks the classiest of the three brands, the Mustang and the Camaro. I think maybe Dodge, being a slightly smaller company, they can do a lot more playful things and not have to stick with some of the corporate musts. But yeah, this Challenger 50 with the wide body and the more aggressive front lip, man, certainly does the business. I really like the satin finished wheels. It's just cool old school looks. Just love it, love it. So coming around to Ford. When you're at Ford, be careful not to get bit by this Cobra over here. It's quite a menacing one. And there it is. Let's see. I actually really like it. I wanted to hate it because, you know, as an enthusiast, they're kind of using the Mustang name to push that brand. But it's actually really, really good looking. Those vertical LED bars coming down on the headlight kind of reminds me of the Audi TT in a way. But you know, there's only so many LED patterns you can do on headlights and taillights. So I think it actually matches to the taillights of a Mustang, so you can kind of tie it like that. I actually really like the, I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but the grille is actually kind of a faux pattern behind the clear coat, so it'll be much easier to clean actually, but you still get like a 3D effect from how the lighting is hitting that grille, so that's really cool. You still get like that ridge of a Mustang fender and a hood connection. It's just a little bit more rounded, I think, but it's really cool that they tie in some of the design details like that. I like the wheels a lot. How big are they? 20 inches, 235 up front. So it looks like E4. This is probably the dual motor version. I know they integrated the handles onto the trim, and the rear door is sort of a button design. And yeah, it does clean up the side profile quite a bit. I think that was a pretty clever solution instead of having to pay for those really expensive integrated handles like the F-Type and the 911. So that's actually really cool that they figured out a solution like that. I guess they have the Lincoln that they tried doing the integrated door handle on the window trim, so they have some prior knowledge. But yeah, I mean, overall, really cool. It's actually really good looking in person. I like how they use the gloss black on that rear section, so it actually visually keeps that fastback coupe line, but it still gives you that space that you need. So if you look at it, it's still very much an upright space, but because it's a gloss black design, your eyes are just seeing more of that fastback roof, which is a really, really cool detail. I think this taillight design, how it wraps around that horizontal bar, I'm assuming that's actually probably going to carry over to the newer Mustangs. Again, you're seeing those gloss black with the LED bars just wrapping around that. The GT font, very reminiscent of the Ford GT, and the Fiesta STs. Like, it's just, yeah, definitely a family design there. You can see the resemblance. And really nice diffuser. It's actually going in. I can't argue here. I think Ford has done a really good job with the design. And certainly the price is very attractive for a lot of people that are looking to buy a CUV that's an EV. So yeah, it's kind of a surprise actually. I'm really drawn to this car. But really, really good looking. Coming around to the Genesis brand. So as I've mentioned, the G70 in the 2-liter turbo trim comes in the manual. So thank you, Hyundai, for keeping the enthusiasts happy. I hope you sell many. I guess many as in 5, unfortunately, but I still really applaud you for doing that. I think the big news for Genesis is probably the big daddy here. The G90. This car is considered like the S-Class in Korea for a lot of the Korean executives that aren't gonna be seen in an import. So, you know, they definitely pay a lot of attention to luxury and detail. Of course, cars like this is probably the best if we go in the back seat. Looks like it's got massive legroom, but you would expect that from an executive saloon like this. A lot of nice satin finished wood trims along with the aluminum coming together like that. I I mean, it still doesn't feel super special. You know, I'm sure the design has to just be very conservative to keep the people happy. Yeah, nothing super exciting, you know. I know the most sort of controversial point or the highlight of the design is probably the large grille. I don't know if this is the indication of the new design language for Genesis brand, but I kind of like it. It's different. It also hides the radar sensors pretty well, actually. So yeah, it's pretty nice. It's nice that these X kind of trims, I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but it kind of carries through on the LEDs as well, the same pattern. So that's also really cool. I think that similar pattern is actually carried out to the wheel. The wheels remind me a lot of the old school Mercedes, and I'm imagining actually this car in general, I'm sure they benchmarked the S-Class in many different ways. So coming on to Hyundai. See some Veloster race car over here. Looks like we have the Veloster N sitting over in this corner. Really like that sky blue in person. Man, this car actually looks really good in person. Yeah, I'm really excited that Hyundai is finally doing something exciting for the enthusiasts. I think it looks like the Elantra GT N line is also sitting right there. You know, I really wish that Hyundai would have brought the i30N, which is the European version of the Elantra GT, the N version of that, to US and not the Veloster. I get that they have more of a tuner market that's well known in the States with the Veloster, but I don't know, for a lot of grown-ups like me, I know the three-door layout gives it kind of a unique selling point in the market, but you know, to compete with the classics like the GTI, I would have rather taken the four-door, the Karma SC1. So this is the convertible version, and over there we see the coupe version in the back. I'm told one of the two will actually make it to production. Lots of really cool design cues. Cars like this is exactly the case of, you know, electric cars not having to be boring. I think this is going to be a really cool car. A lot of really cool cues. I know the pressed carbon instead of the weaves is kind of a big trend. I really like that luggage being over on the front right there. Very classic sports car touch. It looks like the interior, they went crazy with the pressed carbon there, but yeah, overall super cool. Look at that integrated seat buckle on it. And I don't know if it'll come through on the video, but it's got an LED sewn in between the leather pieces. That's a really neat touch. I really like that. The new Land Rover Defender. Not an SUV person, so I won't dwell on this car, but even in comparison, if you look at the Evoque in the background there, you can see that they brought back a lot of the upright, more boxy design, which I'm a huge fan of. So I'm here at the Mercedes-Benz booth, finally looking at the new A-Class in person. I wish they offered the hatchback. I mean, people that buy these sort of cars, you know, I think they need the utility as much as the style, and I don't know, I feel like the hatchback is just the better looking variant, but unfortunately the sedan is just the more popular platform here in the US. Man, if they brought the A-Class hatch and an AMG platform, oh, sign me up. I would definitely be interested for a personal fleet, but yeah, for now, this is what we get in US. I'm over at the Nissan booth and I found this, whatever 50th anniversary Nissan Z is. I'm gonna call this one a desperate last measure, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if the partnership with Renault is still ongoing. It'd be really cool to see some of the Renault products coming into US with the Nissan branding somehow. I know the Alpine is also tied into that, and I would even take an Alpine rebranded as a Nissan somehow, you know, like do something. But I think this platform is really showing age. So walking over to Porsche, will I finally get to see the new Taycan? Let's find out. But the big story at Porsche today is the new Taycan, isn't it? Everybody wants to find out what the quality is like, what the design is like on the new Taycan. It's definitely more of a coupe shape versus the Panamera in person. Yeah, super low to the ground. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of the paint matched wheel and the black lugs or the spokes. I'm not sure about that design, but the roof line and everything, and it's really, really nice. I think it definitely looks more sportier than the Panamera brother. The tail's actually quite a bit longer in person. I thought it would terminate more like a 911, but I guess it still needs to respect some space for practicality. So, but again, yeah, I think this blue one here has the carbon insert wheels, and I think this wheel, I would prefer this wheel. Coming into the driver's seat, this is what I wanted to see the most, is the curved LCD screen. Yeah, that's really nice and crisp in definition. Again, I prefer the more planted screens that actually have sort of a shape versus the ones that are just sticking out. So I think this is really nicely well done. Interesting materials here on the seats. Mixture of fiber and like an Alcantara material. Yeah, everything feels really nice and premium, like a Porsche should feel. They still kept the ignition switch on the left, but I guess it's just a power button now. Nice little detail. Still on the left side. Very traditional Porsche. Get in the car. Definitely got to watch your head on the more swoopy roofline. Overall, pretty good. It's an EV, so yeah, you get a lot of space. Obviously, a lot of good foot room here, ample amount of knee room here. Yeah, I think the driver is also around the same height as me inside on the driver's side, so definitely feels very high tech with a lot of the screens. It's finally here, right in front of me. The Toyota Supra. Myself, so this is kind of a big brother, if you will. And before I get in the car, I know a lot of people are, especially the Toyota enthusiasts, the purists, they're really upset that Toyota went and developed this car with BMW. But I hate to break it to you, but Toyota actually did develop a car on their own. It's called the Lexus LFA, and I hope you guys are enjoying that car if you bought that. As Toyota purists, right? That's the car you want. Yeah, no one has $300,000 to buy a sports car, I think. So, is it what the Toyota purists want? Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys. Yeah, it's not so nice. But is it? Do they bring a package that a lot of people can enjoy? And especially at a used car market, is it going to be an obtainable item? Certainly. As someone in R&D myself, I think I can understand the business directions. Yeah, Tada-san is working hard to keep these really cool projects alive, and if that was the corporate decision to make a Supra that everyone can buy, yeah, then so be it. So let's go inside the Supra. Oh, first impressions. Let's see. The door handle kind of feels like a BMW. I'm now sitting inside the Supra. I guess what I didn't realize, that even the door handle is actually the same as the Z4, I think, or the new 3 Series is where I remember seeing that. But certainly some of the details are kind of its own thing. The carbon fiber trim here around the center stack here, and of course the divider here. It is nicely padded though, so when you're doing your track duties, I think you won't have to come back home with a bruised knee. The 3 and 9 grip feels pretty good. It is very reminiscent of the BMW steering wheel with these switch buttons here. At least the gauge cluster is kind of its own thing. I think also what's nice about German ergonomics is, me again being 6'1", I always have a hard time having the steering wheel come up right close to my chest when my foot is feeling comfortable. But even though the Supra being a really tight package, I don't have any of those ergonomics issues. So for me, this is actually a plus. Japanese car with German ergonomics, please, I'll have that any day. And the long hood out, actually reminds me a lot of the S2000 in a way. Even the way those fenders kind of come over the front wheels. But finally in the Supra. Super excited. I would definitely love to take it for a spin. I have a few friends that already are driving this car around, so hopefully I can arrange a review for you guys. Something I noticed as I was getting out of the car, some of the carbon trims are really nice, like you see on this wing mirror here. But yeah, I mean, people are right, like these faux plastic vents, it's not so nice, especially the one right here by the door. I don't know if because the light's really bright if it's gonna catch that, but you see some white spots here from the polishing compound. But yeah, that's something to be a little bit desired. But I would say overall, man, really good looking car, very voluptuous. I'm a big fan of the 60s soft shell design, so this definitely is more along that line versus something like my BRZ. But obviously it's also a little bit more expensive car, so definitely more classic. Nice aggressive rear diffusers here. I think it looks really good, especially from this direct rear view. I don't know if the diffusers, let's see how much they go back into. Yeah, I think it's just the bumper. And then probably the same deal as the BRZ, where the muffler just kind of acts as the diffuser here. But yeah, seeing it in person, very, very voluptuous, classic sports car proportions. I would say it definitely looks a lot better in person. Yeah, I think first thing I would do if I had the car, probably change out some of the plastic trims. But yeah, really good looking. I think honestly, I know the proportions changed a bit from the FT1 concept, but I like the center mouth being opened up like that in the final production. So I'm a fan. Would love to drive one. Looks like Mr. Doug DeMuro decided to show up, checking out the new Volkswagen electric car. Awesome, snazzy opening doors. Well, concepts, I guess. But, like, pretty cool.